where every second counts. In the pursuit of glory, around every turn, a moment can change everything. Behind every victory is a team dreaming big. This is our passion. EUROCUP-3, driven to greatness.
Javi, Paraguay.
Enzo principalmente, ¿vale?
It's a pleasure for me to say welcome to the first race of the season. It's completely raining and hailing. You can check the image. It's completely raining and hailing, and it's an unusual, I think so, unusual race. But the news is that the race will be. The stewards having considered that the race director reports document 21 explaining not safe enough condition for the qualifying session to take place because the weather. They have decided to cancel the qualifying session 1 and 2 due to the safety reason, taking into account there is not valid free practice result. The starting grid, and this is the news, will be processed using the best lap times. I repeat, the best lap times of both private tests of the event, which took place on Thursday, 17th of April of this year. My friends from EUROCUP-3, this is the news. This is the reason because the qualifying wasn't official in this session. We are here. We are in Spa-Francorchamps. This is the normal, of course, conditions and weather conditions. Do the weather conditions. So the reason of the grid are this. We are here on live. Of course, I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to comment our post, to like our videos in our transmission. And of course, we are here with the passion. It's raining, it's cold, it's 8 degrees, but we have the passion to be here in this first race of the season. Jake, you are with us.
I am indeed, yeah. It's great to be with you all once again for another fantastic season of EuroCup-3 Motorsport. Last year was a very difficult one for all of the competitors out there. Very even and competitive all the way until Esteban Masson really opened up the taps and went for glory. Managed to grab the title in fantastic style towards the tail end of last year. Into 2024, everything has changed completely. A lot of new faces, some returning ones, but there's a lot of new talent that we're going to see on the starting grid for this one. And the difficult weather conditions that Spa has given us on this first round of the 2024 championship has definitely thrown in a few curveballs. As Enzo mentioned, no practice and no qualifying today due to the adverse weather conditions. That means the grid for the first race has been set as an amalgamation of the testing times from yesterday, and that's definitely thrown up some surprises on the grid. It's an all MP Motorsport front row. Owen Tangavelu going to be starting from that front row of the starting grid. And that is a really fascinating situation for him. He was actually talking about it on social media just after it was confirmed. The first ever pole position for a Vietnamese driver in Europe. Isn't it amazing? You wait years for Vietnamese racing drivers to do well internationally. And now we've got a couple of them because Alex Sawyer has been taking the world by storm in F4. And now all of a sudden it's Owen Tangavelu, who of course is also French, but races this year under a Vietnamese license, clearly wanting to really support his heritage back home. There are going to be two drivers starting from the very tail end of the grid that are going to be worth watching, whether they're going to be shooting for a fastest lap in this race to gain a decent position on the starting grid for race 2 tomorrow, or whether they'll be pushing through the field to try and get themselves a decent finishing result is yet to be seen. But certainly for Bruno Del Pino and Nikola Tsolov, they're going to be going off the very back of the grid for this first race of the year. And that says to me that we're going to see a lot of firepower from that tail end of the field. It's going to be fascinating to see how it all progresses. You're looking at the starting grid at the moment to see how all of the competitors are lined up on the starting grid. So just to run through them very quickly, Owen Tangavelu and Javier Segrera lining up on the front row of the starting grid. Alexab Kasava and Christian Ho, who is the leading rookie, lining up on the second row of the grid. Kidal Smal and Suleiman Zanfari, the man who's been conquering all in F4 Saudi Arabia. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. and Dario Cabanelas rounding out the top 10. The new boy Valentin Klus, the youngest man in the field, alongside Noah Lyle. And then 11th and 12th on the starting grid on row 6, Nick Gilks and Michael Shin. Then we have Jose Garfias and Theodore Jensen. And then behind them, Luciano Morano and Diego De La Torre. Then we have Daniel Nogales lining up 17th on the grid. Garrett Berry is 18th place for the Palou Motorsport team. 19th on the grid, it is Georgi Jarevski. And then the oldest man in the field, Finley Green. Victoria Blokina, the sole female competitor in round 1. Gaspard Lagaye, the Swiss driver, 22nd. Then Isaac Barashi, alongside Bruno Del Pino, the rookie champion from last year. And then Nikola Tsolov, the man who is part of the Alpine Academy. And of course, also races in FIA Formula 3 on the Formula 1 weekend. No F3 this weekend in Shanghai in China. So he's on EuroCup-3 duty for the GRS team. The Green Bullet is going to be trying to slice its way through from the back end of the grid. As Enzo mentioned, of course, hailstones as well as rain here at Spa-Francorchamps. But that's the first time we've seen the headland for quite a long time here today. Looking out at the trees in the distance. It's a very tough race circuit, Spa-Francorchamps anyway, without the weather conditions deteriorating the way that they have. But surprisingly enough, this is actually the best conditions that we have seen so far for the entirety of the race day so far. Practice was cancelled this morning after an attempted start. And then within a lap and a half of the cars being out, it was very clear that nobody was going to be able to get any decent running in. For safety reasons, when the weather got even worse, they decided to abandon qualifying session altogether to focus purely on getting the cars ready for race trim. But as you can see, everybody is now getting into position on the starting grid. The grid is gradually being cleared. And poor Enzo right out there in the thick of it, my colleague, having a bit of an issue in his first ever presenting duties for EuroCup-3. And he'll probably wish he stayed on the football stadiums in these kind of conditions. But I tell you what, it is great to be here for a brand new season of EuroCup-3. We're all driven to greatness. Look at that, a patch of blue sky working its way through the clouds here at Spa-Francorchamps. A lovely novelty on this Friday afternoon. It's been a very difficult time. So down on... He's got some more updates for us.
Yes. The race starts in a few seconds, so we will see you. I invite you, of course, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, to transmission in our social networks. Go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to Twitter, and enjoy with us this amazing career, the first race of the season of EuroCup-3.
Gracias, Enzo. Great to hear from you. And Enzo Oliveira is going to be with us through the entirety of the 2024 season. Indeed, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on the EuroCup-3 YouTube stream. You won't miss a moment of this 2024 season. And what a way to start it. Tangavelu and Segrera should be on the front row of the starting grid. But look at that. Owen Tangavelu is missing on the pole position. He should be there at the front of the grid, but his car is not on pole position. That is Alexab Kasava to the left of your screen, who should be starting from third. Now, this means that Owen Tangavelu, I guess, will have to start this race, if he gets to start at all, from the pit lane. We are going to start this race behind the safety car. And because we're starting behind safety car, the race is actually underway. So the pole position for Owen Tangavelu is short-lived. We are now under racing conditions, although I should say behind the safety car, because the time has started to tick. But we are a very subpar start to the season, not the fault of anybody. The weather conditions here at Spa causing us a little bit of a headache, and it means that we have to start the first race of the season from the safety car procedure. But look at the standing water that we've got out on the course. And so, as a result of Tangavelu's problems, it is Javier Segrera that leads the field around behind the safety car. He was probably hopeful of a decent result, but he certainly wasn't expecting to lead them around. He had a very strong year in EuroCup-3 last year, though, of course. He raced on 12 occasions. He got a couple of podiums as well. Raced in the Formula Regional in October. Has also raced in GB3 and in F4 Spain. So Javier Segrera stepping up to EuroCup-3, his first race of 2024, and he leads the field around. Alexander Abkasava doing a fair job already in second place. The Georgian with a Kazakhstani license. He actually competed in F4 Spain last year. So for him to step up to EuroCup-3 for the Santaloc Racing team is a fairly natural progression. It is full course yellow as we run behind the safety car. So just double checking that we've actually got Owen Tangavelu having joined in with the rest of the field. It doesn't look as though he has. So I wonder, has he had an issue going to the grid? Because Owen Tangavelu should be there in his pole position. I've not had any updates on Tangavelu, so I can only guess as to the situation that we currently have. But it's a very difficult situation for him. So as the field is currently running behind the safety car, it's a very disappointing start for the MP Motorsport driver who races under the flag of Vietnam, who has essentially had a pole position taken away from him. So Segrera leads the field around behind the safety car. Alex Abkasava in second place. Christian Ho, the leading rookie, in third. The Singaporean, who is still getting used to the world of single-seater racing. He's only 17, the vice champion of Spanish F4 last year. No surprises at all that he has stepped up to EuroCup-3 in 2024. Kiddo Smal in fourth position, Suleiman Zanfari in P5, Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. in P6, then Dario Cabadelas, Valentin Klus, the youngest man in the field, Noah Lyle and Nick Gilks for the Drivex team. Nick Gilks, of course, who is the brother of Megan Gilks, who is an engineer for the Aston Martin Grand Prix team and previously raced in the W Series, amongst many other categories. Michael Shin, the Korean, is in 11th place for Campos. Jose Garfias, the Mexican, for Santaloc. Then the two rookies for Palou, Theodor Jensen and Luciano Morano. And then Diego de la Torre for Santaloc. Daniel Nogales in 16th place, then Garrett Berry, Georgi Zharavsky, Finley Green on his return to full-time single-seaters. He's had a miserable winter. He had his first full-time motor racing campaign for 5 years when he went to the Middle East for Formula Regional. Had appendicitis while he was out there and ended up in a very bad way indeed. But great to see that Finley Green is fully recovered, and now he's there in the Santaloc doing a full EuroCup-3 campaign. Victoria Blochina and Gaspard Lagaye, both for the Drivex team. Then Isaac Barashi in the GRS, Brunadil Pino and Nicolas Soloff. And then Owen Tangavelu, although I don't see Tangavelu out there on the course. I wonder if he actually went off on the reconnaissance lap and has not been able to make it round. Fascinating. I haven't seen any pictures and certainly haven't had any updates about what happened to Owen Tangavelu, so we can only guess. It's all conjecture at the moment. But as you can see for yourselves, the conditions of the circuit not yet ready to bring the safety car back in. And we already have plenty of case studies in the past to remind us that you do not bring the safety car in before time. Javier Segrera leading the field with Alex Abkasava and Christian Ho from Kiddo Smal and Suleiman Zanfari, then Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., Cabadelas, Klus, Lyle and Nick Gilks. So great to see everybody in fine position other than Owen Tangavelu. It's a real difficulty for the Vietnamese Frenchman. He's not really in the position he wants to be in at all. Looked as though it was all going to be full guns blazing for him, and that's just not the way that this has transpired at all. Very unfortunate. For those who are just joining in, we are under safety car conditions because of, well, you can see for yourself the spray that is currently under all around the circuit, essentially. So it is a very difficult situation for all of the contenders, but it's very important that everybody is well aware that the safety conditions mean we cannot start the race as yet. But the time does tick down. That's a regulation. So although it's half an hour plus one lap, when you start the race under safety car, the race time still ticks down. It's frustrating. I get that. But it is a very difficult situation. We have to at least attempt to get the race under starters' orders. A couple of people just pointing out that the conditions are still very hazardous, and I think you can see that for yourself. But when there's a lot of standing water on the circuit and there's a lot of spray, it obviously causes a bit of a headache for people. And you've only got to think back to the Belgian Grand Prix of 2021 that only lasted 2 laps when they tried to start the race behind the safety car, and it wasn't possible to. So it's definitely going to be a very difficult situation for those involved. There are plenty of options open to the organisers. If there is not going to be a race start, they can reduce the number of points available. They can postpone it and elect to race it a little bit later on. Now, it has been updated on my timing screen that Owen Tangavelu is officially a non-start. Now, I don't actually know what has caused that. Did he go off on the reconnaissance lap? Did he have a mechanical problem before they even left for the grid? I wish I knew the answer to that one, because I'd love to give you as much information as possible. It hasn't reached me yet, so I don't actually know the answer to that one. Hopefully we'll get that news very quickly indeed. But we are under safety car conditions at the start of this one, on the eve of the new season. Plenty of new faces coming in, lots of rookies to go after the rookie title this year. It was Bruno Del Pino that picked up the rookie trophy last year. In 2024, there are several drivers gunning for it. Christian Ho, Dario Cabanellas, Valentin Klus, Theodor Jensen, Luciano Morano, Diego De La Torre, Garrett Berry, Georgi Jaravsky, Vittorio Blocchina, and Isaac Barashi, to name them all. So we've got a grand total of 10 rookies in the field. And of course, rookies are determined by the amount of experience they've had in a particular grade of single-seater. Any driver that hasn't raced in EUROCUP-3 but has raced a Formula Regional car for a set number of races does not classify as a rookie. So obviously, you'd have to look to drivers such as Michael Shin and Nikola Tsolov, who have raced in FIA F3 before. So coming into EUROCUP-3, they do not class as a rookie. The same scenario for the likes of Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., and Jose Garfias, who have raced the Formula Regional car a number of times before, so they don't classify as a rookie in EuroCup-3 either. 2 laps around behind the safety car. It's already taken us about 9 minutes, roughly, or 8.5 minutes, I should say, to do that. Because under safety car conditions, this Spa-Francorchamps circuit, the water just hangs in the trees and it doesn't really drain very easily unless you've got a lot of sunshine and a lot of heat to do that. And as Enzo Oliveira mentioned on the starting grid, it's 8 degrees Celsius here at Spa-Francorchamps. And the water is draining, but it's not draining particularly quickly because there's not a huge amount of wind to do that. So it's frustrating. We understand that. But at the same time, the safety of the team's drivers and spectators are of the most paramount concern. So we have to make sure that obviously everybody is safe and sound. So Mark Tucker just keeping an eye on the new liveries for this year. The number 9 car at the back of the field, that is Nikola Tsolov. They've actually improved and updated the GRS team livery. It used to be known as the Green Bullet. Now I think they'll have to know it as the Silver and Green Bullet from here on in, because it's looking very beautiful indeed, and I totally agree. So we have 6 teams in the world of EuroCup-3. MP Motorsport, Santalok Racing, Palou Motorsport, named after the IndyCar champion Alex Palou, Campos Racing, Drivex, and GRS Team. They are the 6 teams that are involved in EuroCup-3 for this first round of the championship at least. There are a couple of others that are brewing a deal to go racing for the remainder of the season, so we hope we'll see them. So fantastic to see everybody out there for the first time, but a frustrating day. Belgium has not been kind to us in terms of weather. We have protocol and we have regulations to adhere to, and you can appreciate that because it's been so difficult to run today. We haven't even had free practice this morning, and we didn't have qualifying either. So this is the first time today, not the weekend, but certainly the first time today that the drivers have been out there, because there was a test session. In fact, there were 2 yesterday, which is how we've managed to set the grid for today's races. It's an amalgamation of the 2 test sessions and looking at the best times. That's how we were able to form the starting grid for this first race, which is very unusual, I have to say, in motorsport. You don't normally get a cancellation of both free practice and qualifying. But that tells you just how difficult the weather conditions are. And on the starting grid, if you've only just joined us, Enzo Oliveira, bless him, was having to shield himself from hailstones on the starting grid. That's how difficult Spa-Francorchamps has been so far today. So it's a fascinating situation for all of the contenders. So still all the drivers going together as they run through. very difficult as well to build tyre temperature in these cars, and let's not forget that these drivers are aged between 16 and 21. So they are still learning their craft. Everybody has this idea in their head, well, they're professional racing drivers, they should just get on with it. Well, the safety car's peeling in now. Lights out on the safety car. So now we are going to go racing for the first time in 2024 in Eurocup 3. And this is what we've been building up to. This is what we've been waiting for. So the situation is going to be absolutely sensational now for the drivers, and we'll see at the back what Bruno Del Pino and Nicola Tsoloff can do as they charge their way around from the back. Will they be focusing on lap time? Will they be focusing on finishing position? Will they be focusing on both? We are under green flag conditions. It's now up to Javier Segrera when we go racing. He's backed up the pack. He's come up to the final chicane, and he climbs that massive elevation through the chicane. So this is going to be fascinating. We come off the final turn. It is getting very tricky for grip, but we are under starters' orders. It's green, 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 green here at Spa-Francorchamps. Eurocup 3 2024 officially gets underway. Good launch down to the first corner for Abkasava. Runs in behind Segrera, no problem at all. Good charge forward from Kirill Smal as he tries to go wheel-to-wheel with Christian Ho. A couple of drivers going for a move or two into La Source. No problems at all as they run down the hill. They will go through Eau Rouge and up to Radillon. Fabulous part of the course. This just got to take it easy on the first lap. Just keep it nice and measured. And so far, so good for Segrera and Abkasava as they go up the hill and run all the way down the Kemmel Straight up towards Les Combes. So this is a great start, and everything has gone according to plan so far. We can see just how big the spray is here so far. The drivers have got used to it over the first 3 laps of running behind the safety car. Now they've just got to go straight in and hope that they can do the business. Got to keep it together. Kirill Smal, by the way, has got ahead of Ho, and Fittipaldi has got ahead of Zanfari in the first couple of corners of the sector. So already there's been a nice shuffle of the deck. So we are looking now as Segrera runs out in front. That's one of the below cars. That is Kirill Smal battling away with Christian Ho and Emerson Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi, I think, has managed to get through on Christian Ho now as well. So that puts him up into 4th place. Segrera, Abkasava, then a long back. That's Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi's worked his way to 3rd. Great racing from Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., the son of the 2-time Formula 1 and Indy 500 winner. Emerson Fittipaldi. And doing a great job. Fittipaldi Jr. looking very strong. A couple of nice overtaking moves in the field there. That looked to me like one of the Santa locks. A couple of drivers running wide there as they go through Pouhon. So they work their way up to the far side of the course. And this is going to get very spicy. But look, Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. has worked his way to 3rd position. The wet being a fantastic leveler between the cars. And now we're really getting to see what they can do. And we've got a tasty little battle developing here. That is the number 5 of Valentin Klus. They run very wide on the bottom end of the course. And now they will charge up through Blanchimont. They will go. This is a very tricky part of the course indeed. And they will be flat on the throttle as they pound their way through. Fittipaldi getting clear of his opponents and working his way past the Campos cars. Oh, onto the grass for the move. Goodness me. One of the Santalocks. I think that was Jose Garfias trying to get the move up the inside there. That was the scene of where Luciano Berti and Eddie Irvine clattered into each other in Formula 1 23 years ago. And we all had a massive sigh of relief when Berti was extricated from the car many hours later. Segrera, Abkasava. Kirill Smal is in 3rd position. He hasn't quite been able to get past Fittipaldi Jr. But Christian Ho is there in 5th, then Zanfari, Klus, Garfias and Cabanellas. Let's have another look. This is on the run up through Blanchimont. This is very tricky stuff. There was the slightest of love taps as well as Garfias and Klus battling away for position. And that got very scary for a moment there. Well done to Jose Garfias for reacting well. But he has got ahead. He's got ahead of Valentin Klus. So Garfias is now in front of the youngster. And Valentin Klus finds himself in 8th position ahead of Cabanellas, Jensen, then Lyle, Gilks, Shin, Morano, Diego Della Torre and Daniel Nogales. So far, so good. You're looking at Fittipaldi running in 4th place ahead of Christian Ho, who is in the leading Campos, the rookie, ahead of Suleiman Zanfari, who almost tank slaps it on the way into Les Combes. But very nicely handled by Zanfari, just about keeps it on the straight and narrow. And I have to say, this is very impressive stuff from all of the drivers out there, handling the conditions incredibly admirably. So what about the progress of the two men at the back? Well, Nicola Solov has come up to 19th. Bruno Del Pino has come up to 21st. So they are making progress and they are overtaking cars. Well, a very close moment then for the drivers. People already saying that little moment between Garfias and Klus, it should be a penalty. Well, how much do you think Klus could really see under the situations that we've got with all of the spray around him? Not necessarily easy to see that Garfias was trying for a move. For me, that's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Garfias trying a very bold move in a very early part of the race on a flat-out part of the course. So it's 50-50 really as to who's to blame on that one. I would say that's a racing incident myself. Now, this is a replay of Zanfari. Watch the back end. It wanted to become the front of the car there briefly, but Zanfari holding his nerve and holding the car as they came through. Oh, and there's a car slowing. Someone in trouble. It's one of the Campos cars. And I'm afraid to say that is Noah Lyle. So Noah Lyle having a major problem. I pull off there. Oh, goodness me. Noah Lyle finding a marshal post. But how close was that? Well, just as well that he manages to find the marshal post, but the safety car is called, and I'm not at all surprised. Oh, dear, oh, dear. It was a huge sigh of relief I had to breathe there, and I think you all did it at the same time as me. We got away with that one again. Safety car back out on the circuit. Not massively surprising. For those who are worried that the whole weekend is going to be a washout, I am told that tomorrow, although we're going to have more rain, it's not going to be anywhere near as heavy as today has been. So we should be okay to at least get race 2 without too much drama tomorrow. That's according to the weather forecast I've been having in front of me all day, and it has been updating on the hour. Noah Lyle, sadly, retiring from the race then. Very unfortunate. Actually, Nicolas Solov appears to have dropped out of the race as well, I'm told. So Nicolas Solov hasn't come through either. So big problems then at Campos. Big problems as well at GRS. Yeah, there's Nicolas Solov's car. So Nicolas Solov out of the race as well. That's very unfortunate. Is that the same incident? Or is that two separate moments out on the course? Because there is Nicolas Solov. Well, they're both walking in together. So I would suspect that essentially Noah Lyle and Nicolas Solov either in the same incident or two concurrent parallel incidents at the same part of the course. But the result is that both of them are out. Very unfortunate indeed. So Nicolas Solov's first race of the 2024 season comes to nothing effectively. So very unfortunate indeed. Got to remember that these lads and lasses are 16 to 21 years of age. They're still very much in their infancy of single-seaters. They're not all going to be Max Verstappen and win everything at the age of 18. You've got to give these guys a bit of patience and a bit of grace. And I promise you, they will not have driven a single-seater with this much power in as horrible as conditions as we've got at Spa-Francorchamps today. So considering that we've only got 2 off the road, I'd say that's fairly admirable, to be honest. So a very tricky race for everybody else. Segrera is still your leader and on course for his first ever EuroCup-3 win. He got on the podium twice last year in only 12 starts. He didn't do the whole season. So it'll be very good indeed for Javier Segrera's confidence to go into the 2024 EuroCup-3 campaign as a race winner. Let's not forget that he's had a very solid time of it over the last 18 months. Race 1 of the 2024 EuroCup-3 campaign, the second season of this category. Look, the rain has come back. You can see it for yourself. It had stopped for a while, but it has started raining again, hence why we've had problems for Nicolas Solov and Noah Lyle. We don't know if it's the same incident or 2 separate incidents that are out there. And the extraction vehicle has gone to the scene of the incident, but well done to the Belgian marshals and officials in communication with each other, not sending the extraction vehicle out until the race was neutralised. So very good work indeed. Let's go through the field while we've got an opportunity. Javier Segrera leading the way. Alexander Abkasava going for a podium finish. He's done it before in lower categories, but he's never had a podium as high up as EuroCup-3 before, so that'll be a great way to start his season. Kirill Smal, very talented racing driver indeed, who runs under a He runs under a Kyrgyzstani license, but for various reasons, he actually hails from Armel in Ural. He's had a very strange route all the way through his junior path in motorsport. He's raced in F4 and been a winner in Italy, the ADAC Championship in Germany, no longer functioning, of course, and in the UAE. And he even got on the podium twice at the end of last season's Michelin Le Mans Cup campaign. So he's an incredibly versatile racer, is Kirill Smal. And good to see him up on the podium, potentially here in EUROCUP-3. But Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. will want to take him on the restart. And, of course, the 17-year-old from Sao Paulo, who's raced in Formula Regional on 2 occasions. That is an abandoned car. That's the Campos of Christian Ho. That's Christian Ho. He was running in 5th place. So behind the safety car, mechanical problem besetting the leading rookie. Christian Ho in trouble. Now, was that mechanical, or did he have a problem of another kind? As Christian Ho tumbling down the order, you can see it for yourself. But he was on course for the rookie win, and he was almost unchallenged because Valentin Klus was down in about 8th place. So I'm afraid to say that Christian Ho is going to be out of the race in this one. And that is devastating for the Singaporean. I know everybody out in Singapore will be very sad indeed to see that. And very unfortunate indeed. Christian Ho is a fabulous young man. Very, very charismatic driver. The utter consummate professional for someone of his age. He's been a very talented kart racer. He's been part of the Sauber Academy. And it's very disappointing indeed to see somebody as impressive as Christian Ho out of the race in what was going to be almost a guaranteed rookie victory. So very sad to see him pull off the road. I don't know whether he pulled off the road or whether the car got away from him under safety car. We may get a replay, we may not, but it's very much game over for Christian Ho. Now the question here remains, how much running are we going to get? Are we going to have to finish this race behind the safety car, or are we going to get any more race running in? Looking at the rain coming down, yeah, well, I was going to say looking at the lack of spray, but then they come onto the Camel Straight, and even behind the safety car, there is a fair amount of spray. Imagine how much more is thrown up when they're at full speed. So it's debatable at the moment. It's 50-50 as to whether we'll go racing again. And to be brutally honest, in the last 12 months, we've learned valuable lessons about the timing of these things. We certainly don't want to have those conversations ever again. But Christian Ho has already been found by the fire and rescue team. He's not getting out of the car. Bitter disappointment. I expect he doesn't want to. I expect he'll just be sitting rather crestfallen in the car, rather hoping that this is a bad dream and he can wake up and still be in 5th position behind Emerson Fittipaldi. Unfortunately, that is not going to be the case. So we have 5.5 minutes roughly left of racing, plus the additional lap, of course. But if it's under safety car conditions, then essentially it's going to be a bit of a half race for all of the contenders out there. We did get to a 3rd lap of racing under green. But when the conditions are like this, it's obviously going to be very frustrating for everybody. So with Christian Ho's retirement, Javier Segrera now leads the race from Alex Abkasava and Kirill Smal. Emerson Fittipaldi Jr. P4 in the 2nd of the MP cars. Then Suleiman Zanfari for the Campos Racing Team, the young man from El Jadida in Morocco, who is certainly the most incredible entrepreneur for anyone his age I've ever met, as Christian Ho gets towed in. Have a conversation with Suleiman Zanfari when you get a chance. Honestly, I don't know any busier teenager in the world than Suleiman Zanfari. He's not just a racing driver. He's not just trying to get his own sponsorship together. He actually runs 2 karting circuits in Morocco and is part of the championship committee for the Ayami Series of Morocco, the karting championship. So that is just incredible for somebody the age of 18. Goodness me, I was so lazy by comparison at the age of 18. Suleiman Zanfari is making me look bad. Jose Garfias in 6th position. Then the leading rookie, Valentin Klus. But he's got big pressure on the restart when that happens, because he'll have Dario Cabanelas and Theodor Jensen right behind him challenging for the rookie win. And then rounding out the top 10 is Nick Gilks, the brother of Megan Gilks. Then Michael Shin, 11th position for the young Korean, just 1 place away from championship points. Then it is 12th on the order for Diego Della Torre, who's driven very well to rise up the ranks there, actually. Daniel Nogales, 13th position. And then 14th is Georgi Żurawski, who is currently 5th in the rookie class. Then Garrett Berry, Luciano Morano, and the fabulous Victoria Blokina. Very talented racing driver. What she lacks in flamboyance and ego, she absolutely makes up for in data analysis and raw speed. She hasn't had the best of starts to the weekend, but then testing was not really meant to be indicative of where she was going to start the race from. Nobody is really where they were expecting to be on the starting grid. So you can't really judge them on that. Is the safety car about to peel off? I think we're about to go racing again. So I'll quickly tell you that Bruno Del Pino is in 18th and Gaspard Lagaye 19th. Then Finley Green and Isaac Barashi, the two Brits, are at the back of the train. Well, it looks to me as though we are about to restart, as we've backed up the field quite considerably, but I don't see where the safety car is. We're still raining, of course. It's nowhere near as bad as it was earlier on to get rid of both free practice and qualifying. But these four cars right at the back are going to miss the start of the race if they're not careful. They need to hustle in behind the rest of the train. It is going to go green, so we are going racing once again. So they come off the turn, down the straight, and to an absolute sea of water on the main straight. It's green, 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 and Javier Segrera retakes the lead here from Abkasava, Kinosmal, Fittipaldi, Zanfari, Garfias, and Valentin Klus. They go into La Source, and it's the worst timing in history. They couldn't really have predicted that, as up the inside, Zanfari takes on Fittipaldi to get into 4th position. It's terrible timing, because just as they go green, the rain gets heavier on the main straight. There really isn't anything they could have done about that, and they certainly couldn't have predicted it. But when they made the call to go racing again, the rain had essentially eased off. So that just shows you how terrifying it can be to get these calls right and wrong at Spa-Francorchamps. They go down the camel straight. So far, so good. Segrera trying to pull away from Abkasava, but Segrera's got colder tyres than he would hope for. Abkasava trying to go right round the outside of him into Lecom and has to go and overshoot. So Abkasava will miss the chicane, but sadly he's got to give the lead back to Segrera. He'll have to do it once he's squared back up again, as drifting off the road goes Kirill Smal. Manages to recover. Well given back by Alex Abkasava, who now has a chance again to go for Segrera. Deep set. Here comes Suleiman Zanfari, diving up the inside of Kirill Smal. Brilliant run from the Moroccan. He's got so much confidence these days, ever since he got his first win in F4 Saudi Arabia at the beginning of 24. Suleiman Zanfari's just been on the crest of a wave of confidence. This is terrific from the Moroccan. And there's a very tough battle for third now. Zanfari, Smal, Garfias and Fittipaldi. Then we go back to the rookie battle. This is Klus versus Theodor Jensen, I do believe. And goodness me, look at the rain now. Oh, that is getting ridiculously heavy. Well, they're not going to make it back to the pits before the end of time running out because of just how heavy the rain's going to be on that far side of the course. Oh dear. Big twitch and a big wobble there from the Polo car. As round the outside comes the Santalok, and they're both going to drift off the road. Into the barriers will go the Santalok, but he's got to keep his foot in. Keep your foot in. You might just be able to get back on. Well, that's all. That all started from this moment when he just got a little bit too squirrely on the throttle. And around the far side came the Santalok of Finley Green, and it just all got away from them. So, big moment, but well done to Finley Green for keeping his foot in and driving the car back out again. Even appendicitis won't keep him down. He's done a full Carlos Sainz experience this year. Appendicitis almost put him out of racing altogether. And we are going to go green to the end by the look of it, as Abkasava's now battling with Kirill Smal. Last lap, here we go. A mass of standing water as they come down the straight up towards La Source. But Javier Segrera is just trying to hang on to this. Oh my word, this is really scary now. Abkasava, Smal, Fittipaldi, Zanfari has dropped back down to 5th again. Klus in P6 ahead of Jensen. So that's the battle for the rookie class now. Gilks is up to 8th. Good work from him. Cabanelas, then Garfias in 10th. From Shin, Żurawski, Diego Della Torre, down towards Eau Rouge, and they will climb up to Radion once again, and a spin through Eau Rouge. There goes the below. So I think that's Theodor Jensen who's gone off there at Eau Rouge. Just lost the back end of the car under aquaplaning. Oh my goodness, look at the camel straight. Red flag, red flag. No surprise at all. Red flags. Well, and that's a big off. That's a second car that's gone there at Eau Rouge. So we had two cars go off in quick succession. That looks to me like the Polo of Theodor Jensen. Look, just there's so much standing water. And actually, the second car went off almost in sympathy there. Well, big moments. Oh dear, oh dear. That's a tyre basically trying to go around the circuit on its own there. So we are under red flags, and that's going to be a declared race win for Javier Segrera in front of Alexander Abkasava and Kirill Smal. Now, on this particular occasion, I will say there's not really a lot that the officials could have done about the timing of that one, because when we got the call to go racing again, when we got the call to go back to green, the circuit was dry enough, I think, or certainly not ridiculously wet, to go racing once more. Oh, are we going to see something we don't want to see? Okay, we are. Oof. Well, fortunately, that looked relatively low speed. So let's not go anything. Let's not go into any directions we don't want to go in yet with calling things or predicting things. We think the three cars that are involved are Luciano Morano, Nick Gilks, and there is a third car involved, but I can't quite tell who it is, unfortunately. Just seeing the numbers through the spray has just been so difficult. So we've got to go by what it says on the timing screens. I think the third one is actually Gaspard Lagaye is the one that lost it and essentially went into the back of Luciano Morano's car. So I think it might actually have been Luciano Morano who spun the car initially. And then Gilks and Lagaye have had a separate incident. Well, let's keep calm. Let's not focus on the negatives. Let's focus on the fact that we have got to the end of a race. It looks to me as though everybody's okay. But the red flag at that point was absolutely the right decision. Segrera, Abkasava and Kirill Smal look to be the three men on the podium. And Valentin Klus, Theodor Jensen and Georgi Żurawski are going to be the three drivers on the rookie podium. Well, in incidents like that, in moments like that, you have to be grateful that we got away. We managed to get away without too big an incident there. It's a tricky situation for all of us. We're struggling to see. We're struggling to keep an eye on everything going on. But on this particular occasion, it looks to me as though it's going to be Javier Segrera that will be our race winner after a very strong race weekend that has been essentially decimated. We've only got one race to go, and that is tomorrow morning, with the hope that the weather forecast that we've got for tomorrow is accurate, which is not going to be anywhere near as heavy as today's race has gone. Apologies for the quality of the pictures if you're disappointed. Apologies for the quality of the commentator in the commentary box if you're disappointed. But it's one of those races, unfortunately, where we've just got to take stock of the situation, bring it home and make sure that 25 drivers are still here tomorrow. Red flags at Spa-Francorchamps. So Enzo Oliveira is going to be down in pit lane, hopefully to find our top three. But Javier Segrera is going to be declared as our winner from Alex Abkasava and Kirill Smal. What a fabulous, fabulous start to Javier Segrera's season. And I think just a huge sigh of relief from all concerned. And as far as racing laps are concerned, I think we've done enough. So let's go down to the pit lane where Enzo Oliveira is there and should be able to grab a word with our top three.
Yes, we are here with the winner, Segrera. How are you? Tell me your feelings after the career.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I have no voice. I mean, it was a tough race.
You don't have voice.
Yeah, it was tough, but I think I managed it well. And I mean, that's the important. Clean laps, don't do mistakes, and that's it.
Difficult, no? The weather condition to drive today.
Yeah, and in the last lap, it also poured a lot of rain, so it was really tricky. But they stopped the race and managed to win it, so really happy.
Tell me how managed the career, the track. Was really difficult, no?
Yeah, it was super tough. But I mean, in first position, I had clear air, so it was better. But the last laps were really tough.
Why you win the career?
Well, I won. I had a very good start. The safety car restarts were mega, and I just kept my head down and pushed.
The other competitors in the race.
Yeah, it was fine. I think I was pulling a gap every time I had some free air, and I had some issues on the last lap. So I thought I was going to get out of the race.
Thank you so much. Enjoy. Was the interview with the winner today here in the first race of the season in Spa-Francorchamps, Jake.
Well, Javier Segrera sounded like he was out of voice there. I wonder if he'd been screaming over the radio for his first race victory.
He doesn't have
sounded like
voice.
he had no vocal cords
true.
left, Enzo.
Yeah, he doesn't have voice, but like he, many other competitors as me, it was really difficult today due to the weather conditions. It's really cold. I need to mention it's really cold, 7-8 degrees. Not easy to work inside of the track and outside for us also.
Yeah, that's the difficulty, isn't it? When you've got absolutely no temperature on the circuit, you've got no way of warming up there's no way of warming up the brakes. There's no way of generating any temperature in the tyre. And it's pretty much like an ice rink for the drivers out there. Even if it was later in the year when the air temperature, the core temperature would have been more, you'd probably have been able to go the full distance of a race with maybe one safety car. But because it's so cold, I don't think people really appreciate just how difficult it is for people working in that situation, the drivers being out there on the circuit in that condition. Enzo, you're freezing. And you had hailstones at the start of the race as well. I don't think people really realise how difficult your first day on the job has been.
Yes, I think that in 2-3 moments of the race it was really hailing, but people here, people from Spa-Francorchamps say that it's totally normal from here. So we came from Barcelona to cover this first race of the season, and it's of course for us it's surprise to how Belgium receive us, but for people here in Belgium it's completely normal. So the first race of the season for me was totally normal for Belgian people.
So now you know what it's like coming out to this part of the world, eh, my friend?
So now we will see the podium with the 3 cars, with the 3 winners, number 1, number 2, and number 3. And we are, of course, watching in our transmission, in our streaming, the access, the entry, the ending of the race for the other competitors, as I mentioned, in the first race of the season here in Spa-Francorchamps.
So the first race of the season then, Javier Abkasava and Kiddo Smal, 3 completely different teams on the podium. That's a really competitive way to start the 2024 EuroCup-3 campaign, with a podium for MP, Santalog and Polar Motorsport. Great to see all 3 teams present on the sharp end of the field. We're going to leave you here at Spa-Francorchamps with the pictures from down in the pit lane. The podium ceremony, obviously going to be very, very important one for Javier Segrera to enjoy. Do stick around though, because there's going to be more content that will come on the social media channels for EuroCup-3 on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course on our YouTube channel. Hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as tapping the notification bell. You won't miss a moment of the EuroCup-3 season in 2024. It's been a very blustery and splashy day at the circuit here at Spa-Francorchamps. We did go the distance, just didn't quite get the race we wanted out of it. But the main thing is that we all came home safe. Javier Segrera has broken his duck in 2024, his first win in EuroCup-3. What will happen tomorrow? Well, at Spa-Francorchamps, your guess is very much as good as mine. Make sure you tune in for the early morning start tomorrow for race 2 here at Spa-Francorchamps. And of course, like and subscribe to all of our social media channels, whatever your social media channel of choice is, and you won't miss a moment. From Enzo Oliveira, from Jake Sanson, thanks very much for watching, and we will carry on tomorrow here at Spa-Francorchamps.